Now, before we get really into the video, I need you to answer this one question. Do you have a budget? Keeping track of numbers in your head does not count. Looking at your online banking once a week does not count. Being current on your monthly bills, although great, also does not count as having an actual planned out budget. If you have something like this, a written out budget sheet, or you use an app like Every Dollar app, and you are updating this at least once a month, then you have a budget. You know what your income is, how much debt you have, and you know exactly where your entire paycheck is going or about to be going. Some of you might be new and you just made your first budget. Yay. You guys stay here. And for the no budget yet people, don't worry, we're going to get you set up with that first. And I have another question for you. How often do you get paid? If you get paid weekly or monthly, check out this video. And for those of you that get paid twice a month, bi-weekly or bi-monthly, you're going to want to check out this video. And then I have one more that shows a paycheck routine, and it also comes with a free budgeting packet. In fact, I think all of them link to a free budgeting sheet. So you might even want to check all of those videos out because they all actually have really good info, no matter how often you get paid. But anyway, watch at least one of those and get your budget written down. Okay, now if you've got your budget, that is awesome. Good job. That part is not easy. It is not fun. It's a real pain in the, to be honest, but you did it. And now you are wondering what to do with it, right? I've got all these numbers worked out. Now what? So I'm going to tell you what I did, because what I did work. It wasn't perfect, and a lot of life happened over this paying off our debt period. But in the end, we were able to pay it all off. So I feel like I can help you skip a lot of common mistakes and get you on that fast track to paying off your debt, finally having an emergency fund, and the best part, lowering your stress levels. And let's start with your practical ways. So the first 3 things that I'm about to go over are going to help you do better with your money overall. And these 3 things are on the emotional side of the coin. You know, the side that we always want to pretend has nothing to do with anything, when in reality, emotions are what drives us to do literally every single thing that we do. Why did you buy your crying toddler the toy? Because you were stressed. Why did you loan your brother the money? Because you felt guilty. Every decision is coming from the emotions that are being felt. And this reaches way beyond just how we handle money. So with that being said, number 1 is to be ready for that emotional roller coaster that is going to come with you getting your budget moving in the right direction. Emotions came up while you were going through and building up this budget, right? Oh, I know they did. You may have felt some remorse for spending more than you thought you were spending, or confusion as to how any of this even got to this point. Perfection is just not part of this scenario. A budget just can't be, and it will never be perfect, because no one's life is perfect. And if you can understand this now, it won't seem nearly as defeating when life happens to you. So I'm telling you now, life will happen and your budget will take hits. So be ready. At the beginning of the video, I showed you a list of life things that happened to us, and each one did throw us off in some way from our predicted expenses that we had on our budget. But I mean, whatever. A roller coaster goes down, which means it also has to come up, right? The goal is to get your budget to the point where you don't have to worry about life quite so much. Let's say that one more time before we move on. The goal is to get your budget to the point where you don't have to worry about life as much. And number 2, changing your point of view is okay. In fact, it's inevitable. Maybe you didn't think anything of buying something new for your kids every time you went out shopping. Maybe you're the guy that always picks up the tab at dinner. Maybe you think that having an $857 car payment is completely normal. But now you have this written down plan and you're realizing that maybe the way you used to think about money isn't quite the same anymore. That was the old you, and the new you is thinking differently. Your priorities are going to shift, and this is a very good sign that you are coming right along and the consumer in you is going down. Number 3, stay in your lane, kind of. Now, we always hear not to compare ourselves to others, right? Yes, we do, and I say it a lot here on the channel. Comparing numbers on income, debt, house payments, car payments, it's not a good practice. But seeing how others are doing their budgeting so that we can learn some new ideas and gather information so that we can improve on ours, that can actually be very helpful. So the difference here is that when you see someone doing something that you'd like to implement, instead of saying to yourself, I will never get to that level, I want you to ask yourself, how do I get to that level? I don't think I'm alone in feeling that we are all not so far apart. When we want to change something about ourselves, it's completely natural to look at other people. Just make sure that when you do, your goal is self-assessment and not self-enhancement, which basically means that you are doing it to be better in your situation, not feel better about yourself. Okay, and next up are the technical ways. So let's get into the tasks that you will be doing to make sure that your budget is doing its job. You are going to be checking yourself and making sure that you are doing what you said you would be doing with your money. This is where you are going to be working for yourself. And we will start with number 1, track your spending. And I'm starting with this because number 1, this is the most important part. And number 2, no one wants to do this part. Tracking spending just sounds so time consuming to us for some reason. I think it's because either we've never done it or you're like me and you used to do it back in the day before online banking. But now that we have online banking, you think, what's the point? Let me tell you, the online banking is never accurate. Some transactions take days to post or show up on your account. If you have auto pay going on anything, which most of us do, and you aren't really tracking your money, you could end up in a serious mess. Okay, for example, if you got paid today and $1,200 hit your account and 800 of that went for bills, 100 of that went for groceries, and 50 went for some gas in your tank, you're thinking that you have $250 left. So you go out and get some food with your friends, 60 bucks. And you went out and got your nails done for 65. And then you see a pair of shoes that you absolutely love. And you think what? That you still have 125 bucks, right? Well, the shoes are only 85. So that leaves you with 40 bucks. So you go ahead and buy them. But then 2 days later, an afterpay that you completely forgot about comes out for $30. And then Netflix for 20 pops. Now you're in the negative. And that's worst case scenario, right? But this happens a lot. A little over 25% of Americans have experienced an overdraft fee within the last year. That's 1 in 4 households. And then we have the 60 to 70% of Americans that feel like they are living paycheck to paycheck. And most of us know this statistic already. We've heard it at some point. I feel like they keep telling us this so that we become desensitized to that number and we just accept it as normal. So I want you to think about this for a minute. That means that 2/3 of all Americans cannot pay next month's housing without their prior paycheck. one round of COVID, one slip and fall, one fender bender, one broke down anything away from not being able to pay for their housing. It is definitely time to start working for yourself. And here are some different ways that you can track your spending. The first thing you could do is use a spending tracker. And I have one in this beginner budget packet for you guys. This is linked below. It is a free packet. It's got all kind of stuff in here, but we are concerned with this, right? Your spending tracker. You're just going to put the date, what you bought, you can categorize it, and how much you spent. The other way you can track your spending is by using a regular notebook. This is the easiest way. Just start writing down how much you're spending. Another thing that you could do is keep a receipt basket at your front door. So when you come home or your partner comes home, at the end of the day, you can just take any receipt that you've gotten. So you'll have to remember to get your receipts, but take those receipts, throw them in the basket at the end of the week, add them up, and track your spending that way. Or you can use good old envelopes, the 3x6 size. These are from the Dollar Tree. They're the smaller ones, not the business long ones. These are the little ones. And what you can do is say that you've given yourself a $75 spending limit for the week. You can keep the cash in the envelope. And then on the front, just keep your running tab on the front of the envelope. This to me is very easy. I kind of like this way of doing it, to be perfectly honest, because you've got the cash in here and you know exactly where it's all going. This number obviously just needs to match what you've got left in here and you are golden. So you can pick one of these 4 ways. If you don't like this one, maybe you could try this one, try them all and see which one you like the best. Okay, and number 2, stop spending. Now we're going to get to what you are tracking. And now that you have a budget, there is no doubt that you were able to see all of the areas that you can start to save your money. So what about it? Where are you spending? Is it takeout, the kids, 2 a.m. scrolling? Just be honest with yourself. What can you eliminate or at least cut back on? $20 for Netflix can be $20 towards your emergency starter fund. And don't come at me in the comments with, where is your joy? Don't worry, viewers. I have joy. And you know what else I have? Thousands of dollars worth of monthly payments that I get to keep now because I am debt free. Which means, what else do I have? No stress about money anyway. I do not live paycheck to paycheck anymore. I have not had an insufficient funds for over 25 years. Now it's your turn. Where can you cut down and where can you eliminate spending altogether? And number 3 is pick 3 categories. Now, I have been getting a lot of messages on Etsy and Ko-fi from my newbies asking me, what should I buy? How do I know what to start with? And I can really understand this question because yes, there is a lot of stuff. And here's how to get started. First, you will decide whether you're going to be using the cash method or digital. I recommend cash if it is at all possible for you to do it that way. As I said, I'm going to tell you what I did. And this channel is 3 years of me documenting the cash envelope method, getting me out of debt and helping me save up 6 months of my monthly expenses. So I do have a love for my cash envelope system. Using cash just changes your perspective. Handling cash is a new feeling for most of us. It just makes the purchase more real. Counting out money and handing it over hurts. Swiping a debit card, mindless. And if you are using cash, there is no overspending that can occur. When the cash runs out, the cash runs out. Easy. So stay within your 3 category limit. Don't overwhelm yourself with all of the areas of all of your spending. you will go absolutely insane. And then what? Yes, you will give up. So whether you decide to use cash or not, I want you to go ahead and pick your 3 areas of spending that you're ready to cut back on. Okay, so let's say that you choose these 3 to start. Groceries, kids, and takeout. So what you would do is set a limit for each one of these. If you get paid weekly, you could say that you are going to do groceries for $300 for the week. Spending on your kids is going to be $50 a week, and takeout, you're going to give yourself $40 a week. You could take the cash, put it in these envelopes, and just keep track of your spending here on the envelope. But if you are deciding to do this digitally, you could use a different spending sheet for each one. You could go ahead and just put here at the top that it's going to be for groceries and keep a running tab of what you're spending at the grocery store until your $300 is down to 0. And once you've been doing this for a while, you can graduate from using these types of envelopes to getting a binder and adding your categories in here, having the zippered envelopes, putting the cash in each one, each payday. This is a really nice system. This is the cash method that I keep talking about. This is what got me completely out of debt, you guys. So it definitely works. And if you would like a binder and some envelopes to keep you motivated, then get one. If you are okay with the envelopes, get them. Either way, just get started. Now, side note, I actually have a free set of starter dashboards, and this is a dashboard. So I've got, as you can see, they're the same size. So if you want to get yourself a binder and some envelopes, here's some categories to get you started. I tried to make them the most obvious categories that I could think of. So these are there for you to print out and get the feel for using the cash envelope system. And we've got online shopping, groceries, takeout, kids spending, coffee and personal, beauty, and miscellaneous. Now, 3 categories are my suggestion, maybe 5 if you are a super organized person, but that's it to start. You will get better at doing this as you go, and you can add more and more categories when you feel ready for them. And number 4, no new debt. Not a whole lot of explaining is necessary here, right? Continuing to use credit cards for things, even necessities like groceries and gas, is not helping you out at all. And I know it seems like it in the moment, but it is short-term relief. I am guilty of taking on new debt while I was trying to pay off my own. I opened 2 0% credit cards. I thought I was so smart for keeping my cash and putting it all on credit. But in the end, obviously, it just made the whole process take even longer. And when I realized that 0% loans are still loans, I didn't feel so smart anymore. Now, if you are really struggling with the basic necessities like groceries and putting gas in your car to get to work, please watch this video where I give you a step-by-step plan to get out of that, because you can. Now, with all of that money that you're saving from tracking and being accountable for what you are spending, reducing or maybe even eliminating your higher spending areas, and giving yourself those set amounts in 3 categories, will you need to put it towards your $1,000 emergency starter fund, or are you ready to start paying down your debt? Comment below where you will start to put your savings. I'd love to see where everyone is in their journey. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because moving forward, I'm going to be helping you with more specific ways to save, getting you to curb your spending, and motivating you to stay on track past Quitter's Day. And if you don't know what that is, look at my pinned comment. And in the meantime, since a lot of you have been asking how to get your partner on board with saving money, click here and check out this video.